This is East Idaho Newsmakers with Nate Eaton.
Thanks for joining us today. Tami Hymas is in our studio. You may recognize her. She used to write for EastIdahoNews.com, and now she has written a book, BeUtoFullness.
Yes.
A play off of beautifulness. Pretty clever there.
That's how we actually pronounce it, is BeUtoFullness.
Beautifulness, even though it's spelled a little bit different, but it
There's
definitely is catchy.
There's a reason.
Okay, we're going to get into all that.
And it's The Truth About Beauty and You on Amazon is how you find it. Not
Okay.
actually beautifulness. They wouldn't let me tag it that way, the publisher.
Oh, all right. Well,
So, yeah,
it's on sale now.
Yes.
On Amazon.
And in Barnes & Nobles.
And at Barnes &
I did
Noble.
book signings and all kinds
book
of stuff.
signings. So she's
I have a lot of energy. I keep interrupting. Sorry. Keep going.
She's making her way around. So let's start at the beginning. Where did all the, first of all, give us a little brief introduction on who you are, your ties to Eastern Idaho, and where people may have seen you before all of this.
Okay, before all of this, I have been on East Idaho News. I used to do the beauty column there. But before that, my very first start was the Standard Journal. And Nate Sutherland, your editor, asked me to write a column. And I'm like, no way, no way, no way, no way, no way. And then I decided I wanted to give back to veterans. I always want to give back to veterans. I am a woman with a business in our country, and I'm free, and it comes at a cost, and I know it. So thank you. Anyways, so I wanted to give back to them, and I had a business. I'm like, yay, I have something to give back with. Like, I have
and your
something.
business
is Tami Salon in Rexburg. So I called the radio station. I said, hey, I want to give free haircuts to veterans. I'm so grateful for my freedom. They said, come on down. And I went down there, and I was talking on the radio, and they're like, oh, become a weekly segment. So I became a weekly segment on KIDAM. I became a monthly segment on KPVI. And then I was in the Standard Journal, because you guys didn't exist yet.
Yeah, you weren't around.
And then from there, I ended up being on Star 98 as Tami's Tips. So I've been doing Tami's Tips for a while. You guys, I'm such a nerd about beauty. I love it. I love everything about us. We are brilliantly made. And I nerd out about it. So I love teaching it. And I can teach it over the radio. I can teach it in writing, which was not easy. And that was not easy. But that's kind of been my journey. I've also been on East Idaho News Radio with Dylan Barfus, I said that wrong.
Dylan Carter.
Yeah, kill me for saying it wrong. Anyways, I'm just, special. My broken brain will mess up words. So if there's somebody I didn't think or something, you guys if you love me and you know my broken brain. So.
We're just going to go with this conversation because this is all about being authentic, being real, being yourself, right?
1,000%. Well, that is, okay. I go to the hair shows and I'm there and they're like, oh, we want to be authentic. And everybody there looks exactly the same. They either all bleached out their hair or they've all trashed it or they've all shaved their sides or they've all done tattoos. And they're like, oh, we're going to promote beauty. We're going to promote authenticity. And what happens is they have models who are 6 foot tall, size 2, starving themselves, shaking because they're starving. And they've put barely any clothes on them. And they say, this is a hair show. And I'm like, how is this a hair show? How is exposing naked women hair? And the photoshopping, and I had one hairdresser that I have followed, and I've been on stage. I've done hairdressing on stage. I've been a platform artist. I've been an educator. I've done all of these things, and I've been in the backside of this world, and it's ugly, and it's evil, and it's destroying people, and I'm just done. I'm so done. So I taught the truth about beauty with East Idaho on East Idaho News. In fact, you have the beginning stories of BeUtoFullness. And anyways, and I'm like, that's it. I'm done. I have to do it. Nobody else is doing it. And so I've just decided I'm teaching truth, all truth. No Photoshop. We will not fake it. Our wrinkles and our scars, they are proof of life. Gravity is never going to stop holding us on the earth. Your digits are not definitions. Do you know what designers do? They decide, okay, this is a size 0, and we're going to add 2 inches or an inch or an inch. And then they decide what size it is after that. In one day, a woman can be 4 different sizes. Do you know what that does to them? Do you know how many moms I've had sit in my chair and tell me, I just want to look like I did before I had kids. I'm like, so you're not going to swim with your children because you had them? And they're like, no, I don't look good. I'm like, what? How can you giving life not be beautiful? And why won't you make a memory with your child because you think you're fat? Guys, we're all fat. We're all going to have fat. And whether you like it or not, gravity's going to drop it to the ground. I mean, we're lucky. We have other things to help us, and that's what the book teaches. But I'm just done. I'm done with people saying they're being authentic or individual, and they're not. They're hiding. They're using the Instagram filters, the Facebook filters. It used to be when I opened the shop, everybody wanted to look like Jennifer Aniston. They didn't understand she had extensions and wigs. And then they came in and then they wanted to look like Kardashians. And now they come in with their Instagram filters, with it completely flawless, their big eyes, and they've put some kind of filter on, and then they're so upset when they look at pictures of themselves and they look at themselves in the mirror. Just done.
You're fighting a gigantic industry.
It's my war, and I will not give up. And I have worked so hard to get here. And I have battled wars that people probably will never know, but it's my war, and I want you to see that you're brilliantly made to be great. I wonder, do you remember when you were in your mom's womb picking out how much hair you would have, the color of your eyes? How about the color of your skin? Do you remember picking those things out?
I don't, yeah. Don't know many people that do.
Do any of us?
I don't think so.
But do we fight and compare and compete against people based on their skin tone, their weight, their eye color, their hair color, their skin, their flaws, their no flaws? Come on. Come on. Nobody chose it.
So you've been thinking about this for a few years.
I've been thinking about this my entire life.
Your entire life?
Not this. This never. Writing a book was never a part of it. But this, the beautifulness of people, always.
So what you said, obviously, book writing, you admit is not your forte.
But I'm an author.
But you are an author now, and your name's on the book.
It's so weird.
So how do you then produce I mean, writing a book is a lot. How do you say, you know what, I'm to the point I got to do this? Like, what's the steps from you're passionate about it to this becomes your cause?
So when I opened the salon and I was talked into writing the column, I would have clients that would come in and they lived in Texas or New York, and their family had passed around my column. And they're like, it was so nice to have an answer, but didn't make me feel ugly. And that is a common thread I kept hearing. And so I just had a collection of all of these columns. And then I have one of my clients, his name is Jack Harrell, and I actually made him over and made him actually look really, really good and got married and has a great life. And he'll probably get mad at me again, but I put him in my TED Talk. He'll be fine. I just said his last name here. Anyways, I made him over, and then he would tell me all the time, I'm an author. And I'm like, I am not an author, Jack. I have a broken brain. I spent 2007, I was a stay-at-home mom before I opened the salon and everything like that. And I spent 45 days, 22 days the first time, 23 days the second time in UCLA Hospital because I have epilepsy. And I have grand mal seizures, petite mal seizures, and they originate in my language center. So here in my brain, I have damage and like dents and kind of holes. And so my epilepsy is what it's called. It makes me have seizures. This part of my brain is triggered when I read and when I write. So when Nate told me to write a column, you're Nate, your editor, I'm like, no way, I'm not doing it. I know the truth about beauty is more important than my broken brain, but you want me to let you see what my entire life, every teacher, everybody in my whole life tells me I am no good at, I cannot do, and do it. And so I did it anyways, and I had all these columns, and Jack Harrell, that guy I made over, says, you need to turn this into a book. And I'm like, I am not putting it into a book. He was right, I'm wrong. And, and he gave it to all of his students at BYU Idaho, and a couple sets of classes, they kept calling it a manuscript. I'm like, what's a manuscript? Apparently that's what a manuscript is. And they kept giving me ideas and like, this is so good. You have a voice, you have a good message, and you have to do this. And hearing it from like literally 50 students and from behind my chair, and I was just like, okay, fine. I don't care about my broken brain. And really what the straw that broke the camel's back was when I actually broke my knee and I got the word BeUtoFullness. And I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to fight this war for us. And I will get as many that wants to be really real and really love who they are so they can get out of their way. Because not what they look like. You are not what you look like. So even though that's my favorite thing.
You broke your knee 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Tell us that story. How did BeUtoFullness come from that?
Okay, I'll try to shorten it down. We were skiing with our family, so at the time we had teenage kids, and if you know anything about teenage kids, being with their parents is not their favorite thing. No. So I'm like, honey, let's get ski passes and trap them in the car, so at least we get like memories with them. And so we did. So we grabbed it, we went into the car, and we went on a day for all of us, and my daughter kind of fell. So we were on Alley-oop Alley in Targhee. Like, I'm talking bunny hill, middle of a groomed trail. And I started stopping, like regular French ride. I was an intermediate skier. And my leg went crackle, 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 snap, pop. And the entire top of my tibia broke off, including my ACL. So the bottom part of my leg wasn't attached, but the top part of my leg with my ACL was. Oh. Never have I been in so much pain. I was in the center of the bunny hill. There was no reason for this. But in my head, I heard this would be good for you. So then I go home and I'm like, okay, I can't do hair. So that means for 2 weeks, I could probably just catch up on some shows until I'm like a little bit more sound and get some paperwork done and, move forward. And then I had my surgery, and I got done with my surgery, and it happened. I got vertigo extreme. Not like a little bit of vertigo, like when you stop it doesn't move, like extreme vertigo. And you have crystals in your ears, and they caught like loosened or like kind of misplaced. I don't know. I've said they've been locked out, and I don't know all the technical terms. So doctors are like, that's wrong. I'm like, I'm sorry. But they came out, and I started spinning. So much so that I started violently throwing up. And then once I started violently throwing up, then I was completely dehydrated. Then my kidneys started shutting down, and then I got to where I couldn't even walk. And I think you guys have seen those dreams or those shows where people are poisoned and the world's spinning and they're just trying to get through. That's how I felt all the time. And I lived there for 2 weeks. And had you told me when I broke my knee that being in a wheelchair would be freedom, I would have told you were a liar. But at that moment, having my wheelchair was heaven because I was spinning so much and I had my broken knee. I needed babysitters because I couldn't even walk down my hallway. I couldn't do anything, but as soon as I got my wheelchair, it was awesome. I could wheel myself. Yeah. Well, I couldn't hurt myself from my home. And then I was just so grateful to be able to fold my clothes. It took me 4 hours, but I did it. And I did it. It's something that took me 20 minutes before. And I just started really recognizing the gift of life. And then one day I woke up and the spinning was gone. And that whole time I had prayed to have control of my brain. Because my brain's been a broken piece of me for a long time. It's been a lot of battles. It's been my school battles. It's been my health battles. It's just been my life battles. So wanting control of my brain is not an unusual prayer for me. And then when I got control of my brain and I stopped spinning, I went to the couch. And that's when I figured it out. And that's when all of this came. I looked down, and the entire time I wanted to control my brain, my knee never stopped healing. And then when I saw that my knee wasn't stopped healing, I realized my heart never stopped beating. And I never asked my lungs to give me oxygen. And I didn't ask the tear in my eye to come. And I realized that being alive is powerful. And when you're not fighting to be, because we don't pay attention to our heartbeats, we don't pay attention to our lungs, we just expect them to work. Actually, we waste a lot of energy on stupid. But when these stop working, that's when you realize, that's when you get it. You're like, oh, this matters more. But until then, we get lost in going, doing, and we forget the power of be. And that was me, my whole life. I just didn't understand to be. Because in my head, I thought, if I didn't have to sleep, and I didn't have to eat, and I didn't have to use the restroom, I could have so much more time in my life.
Right, yeah.
But those are being things, being present. And so I just prayed really hard what I should do, and I looked up the word beautiful, and I got being alive, and I'm like, oh. And then I looked at the you, and I'm like, oh, you, uniqueness, the power of you. And I always love smiles, and so a you looks like a smile. So I made sure it's a crooked smile. And then two was the hard part, because in the dictionary it's ti. Like if you were to spell the word beautiful, it's B-E-A-U-T-I. So I got rid of the A, and I made a giant U, and I looked up T-I, and it's French words, all these things. And then I saw two, and then the very last of the definition of two is move forward. And then I heard allow, accept, forgive, let go, set free. I'm like, oh, emotional health. It's allowing yourself to be imperfect. It's accepting who you are, the age, your life circumstances, and not being complacent. It's forgiving your past and making it a part of your future and helping you be more. It's moving forward, not dragging or beating yourself up with what you aren't or what you can't be or what you're not supposed to be, but just taking everything that makes you fantastic and moving forward. And then fullness was easy. That's who we really are. It's our gifts and strengths, weaknesses. It's what we're meant to be. And so that's when I had the word.
We are all exactly differently the same.
Isn't it so cool? You and I can sit in this chair because we're exactly differently the same.
Right? Yeah. And that's what the whole message of the book is.
Yes, at the beginning is the beautifulness, but it's also the whole message of the book is we're all exactly differently the same with law. And this is the woman's version.
Okay. And let's talk about the banners you brought. What do you mean by beauty law?
Can I show you?
Yeah, please.
Okay, for ladies, this is your law. This is it. This is how we're all made. Everybody in the world is made like this. You don't get to pick it. When you were in your mom's womb, you don't get to say, oh, my fat goes here or here or here. You don't get to choose. So that's this question. And when my stylists at the salon say, oh, where does your fat go? They go, oh, you said the F word. And we're like, yeah, we do it all the time. We have to embrace it if we're going to try to help it. So these are the different shapes. So this is where your fat goes. So if you're balanced, you're hourglass. And this is how we try to have most women look, is hourglassy. Now, I personally am shaped like a triangle up. So when I put weight on, whether I like it or not, it goes to my booty. Mm-hmm. So my goal is to always try to make myself look balanced. So I now know that this is how I am made. Whether I like it or not, this is how it is. I can't talk my body into doing anything else, which is fine.
So every woman should fit one of these.
They do. They have to. It's law.
And
that's why I'm teaching it, because it's just truth.
And you're teaching that they need to find out which one they are.
Well, yeah, because then they know where their fat goes, and then they know how to dress it, and then they know how to look great.
Okay.
Because this person puts it in the front and in the back, but not on their limbs. And so their limbs always look good, and they just have to put flowy stuff here. So if they could put flowy stuff around their back and their front, but make sure they maximize their legs, everybody's always like, oh, you look so good, you lost weight. Not that that's a real compliment, because gaining weight digits aren't definitions. It's one of my bookmarks, but it helps them know that they're beautiful, and compliments lift us, and we need that. We're human. And so, yes, this will teach you how to dress your body and how to do hair and different things like that. And then the other one is your skin. Now this one, it doesn't matter how white, tan, brown, black, you didn't choose it for one, but you're one of three tones. You're either cool, neutral, warm, because you don't choose it. So I am a cool. So when I put on clothes, if I put on like a warm yellow or mustard or orange, it's so nasty on me. I look like death worn over.
Because you're cool.
Because I'm cool. This is for people who wear warm. They look better in autumn colors. And then neutrals, those lucky ducks, they get to wear just about everything except for like a true yellow or a true red or a taupe.
How do you figure out which you are? I mean, is this color like...
Well, their secrets are in the book, but you can also, but really the question's really easy. Do you like to wear white or cream? I'll ask you. Do you like to wear white or cream?
I just put on what's in the closet. I don't know. I mean,
does anything look bad on you?
Yes.
Okay, what color?
He's like,
I'm getting red.
You tell me. I like to wear light blue.
Okay, probably because you're cool. I'm looking at your skin tone, and you're looking cool.
I'm pretty white. I'm here.
Yes, you are. You're very Caucasian.
I don't wear a lot of yellows or orange. So.
Exactly. So now you know you're cool because your closet tells you so.
So then your book tells me what I should wear with this skin.
Yes.
Okay.
And then
the man version of the book.
Yes, and that's coming.
Okay.
You
don't have anything going on.
I have to tell you, I had 3 seizures finishing that book because of my brain. But this truth is so much more important. Photoshop is not our friend. You know how sad our children are going to be when they see all these perfect people and then they actually care enough to show their lines and their wrinkles? We have so much to give. Why are we hiding it? Our proof of life is our story. I love my scars. Do you know what I mean? So anyways, this is all truth. Okay. So
face shape.
Oh, can I tell you a secret about these girls?
Sure.
We made all of these, guys. Every single one of them is flawed. I have not one picture in my entire book that doesn't have a flaw. Everything is perfectly imperfect. I do not Photoshop. I show real truth. I am honestly authentic. Ethically and honestly, and we will always stay that way. And we are G-rated, and we always will lift and build. And if you need to lean, we'll lean, and sometimes we'll lean on you, but always. Right. Anyways, these girls, I never closed their eyes. I didn't want the eye shape for people to determine what face shape they were.
Because that happens a lot based on your
All
eyes.
the time, on their eyes and their nose. I didn't give a definition to the nose, and I also didn't give a hair amount. And every single one of them is asymmetrical on purpose, because we all are.
So
Anyways,
what shape would you say yours is? Your
I'm a
face?
triangle down, but now that I'm getting older with my jowls, I'm a little bit more oval, but I'm a triangle down oval. And I can actually show you how it works. So if you were to take the broadness of my forehead and bring it straight down, if you notice, I go in. So I go down like this. So I am a triangle down. So between my face and my booty, I'm an hourglass, but I'm not natural.
Okay.
So,
and then they're the hair type.
yes, and that's why this will help with your makeup, knowing your hair shape, knowing what collars to wear, what colors to wear. So this just helps you help this exterior that seems to really matter to us, but really just doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And then your hair type, you're either thin, medium, or thick. You don't get to pick, and it's really easy. You take your hair and you put it in a ponytail. And if you are a thick-haired, you're a quarter. And if you're medium-haired, you're between a dime and a quarter. And if you're thin, you're a dime.
What do you mean a dime?
Like
thickness?
the size, yeah.
Oh, okay,
so if you put your hair in a ponytail and it's like this, or if you look at your scalp and you can see through it, then you're thin. And if you look at your scalp and you can't see through it, you're medium or thick.
So
it's
can
super
you do
simple.
anything to about that's how it is?
Oh, are you kidding? All of Hollywood does stuff about it. They
Yeah.
have halos and extensions, and there's wiglets, and
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, every single thing of these. Like Victoria's Secret helps so much of this. Shapewear, Spanx. Oh yeah, we got work. That's the magic of the book. It tells you what you are, and then how you can make yourself more. When we never use the word better, because more is taking what you already are and being more. Because everything you bring with you matters. But saying better implies that who you were before was bad. And nothing about who you are is bad. And I don't care who you are, and I don't care your past, because all of it matters, because you matter to someone. And that's why we brand the you, which is also asymmetrical.
Ah, you're right. And then the same thing behind you, that's kind of what this talks about.
Yes, this is our golden thing. We just want somebody to have a beautifulness heart, to be one whole person. And this is actually our beauty doc community. So if you come to our salon, to our beautifulness stylist, they can actually teach you how you're made, or you can go into the book, get this picture, and then you could belong to a community. So instead of trying to be like a model, which are mostly them, and compare yourself and try to dress yourself like them, you can take who you are and how you're made and find people like you that are not photoshopped that are doing it too. And so that's another piece that we're building. And basically, I sucked it up and wrote the book so that there was another way to help us teach the truth about beauty, the actual truth about beauty.
You're trying to build kind of a community, I guess you could say. Or
Absolutely.
Have support and love for
Right?
everyone.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Can you imagine? Okay, so statistically, if a man and a woman are walking down the street, guess who they're all looking at? The woman. The guys look at the woman going, oh, my woman's better. The other guys look at the woman going, oh, my woman's better. And then the girls look at them like, oh, she's got this, or she has this, or she has this. Statistically, we destroy ourselves over our appearance. And I'm just done. I'm over it. I'm over the plastics, the perfection, the everything. I'm just over it. And I'm ready for the world to just be who they really are. And that's who they love, who they lift, who they build, who they care about. And they quit chasing the perfections that seem to be out there and start embracing their perfect imperfections.
So what's the ultimate goal? I mean, if you could have your dream in a year or two,
Okay.
or 5, where is all of this? Are you on Oprah? Are you, where do you see this all going?
This will be an industry disruption. We have a way, I am working really, really hard on building something that will completely be an industry disruption, where it will be powerful not to have a filter. And my ultimate dream, besides just being an industry disruption, is that the mom who's raising her daughter and looks in the closet and says, oh, I would do that if I could lose those 20 pounds. Or could actually sit in a chair and not be like, oh, I'm sorry, I've aged. But actually sit there and go, I've had my kids and they're amazing and I have flaws and I'm embracing them and I'm taking everything about me and I'm building someone else. My dream is for people to realize they didn't choose the circumstances of their birth, but they do choose what they do with them. I want them to take everything they're meant to be and give it to the world instead of trying to destroy it, because we are amazing.
So can you talk about what's next?
Kinda.
Or is it a stay tuned?
It's a stay tuned, because
Okay.
you know, this is my beginnings.
Yeah.
So I will keep you in touch. But this book is super important. I need you to buy it on Amazon. I need you to discover how you're made. And can I show them something real
Please,
quick?
yeah.
This is made by someone with a broken brain. I made the book to not hurt your brain. It's a simple read. You don't have to sit down and 3 hours read it. You can pick it up and go, oh, that's my face shape. Okay, I forgot about it, and set it down. It's like a recipe book. And then you can go back and go, oh, I need to remember how to give myself a manicure. Once again, my hands, all my scars. I didn't take anything out. I only took pictures of myself. I didn't want anybody else in the book. Everything else is sketched. Everything is imperfect. But it's a simple guide made for women and girls. And they just learn the secrets. It's all truth. There's no extra fluff. I'm not selling or endorsing anything. I'm just helping you see how you're made. And then once you know this, you can take all this information and Google and come to BeUtoFullness and get more information on how to be. And that's where the power is. Because instead of chasing what Hollywood says or the beauty industry says or this Photoshop images, they're actually looking in the mirror of who they are and where they are, and they're becoming something more, and they're getting out of this way, and they're starting to lead with this.
Well, thanks for coming in, Tami. A lot of interesting stuff in the book here. As she mentioned, you can pick it up in a variety of places. Thank you for watching. Go have a beautiful day. See you next time.